same sign. Motion carries. July 9th, 2024 minutes, any additions or corrections?
Gary?
Motion for their approval, the minutes.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Branch 152, approve a project construction site update. Spencer, don't give us an Ivan wrong description.
How much time do we have? No.
10 minutes.
Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I guess, first of all, just really quickly before that, hopefully you recognize Rachel Millage and Caleb Rasmussen here with me today. Both work out of our Storm Lake office. I mentioned with my move back to East Mountain. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks. Green bad debt policy. Sandy, you're up.
Yes.
Can't just make it the policy to not have any?
Well,
I guess that's what we're doing.
we've never had a bad debt policy in Osceola County. I mean, why would we? I mean, before I took over the position, I believe that Ed and Judy would maybe take them to small claims court for any of their bad debt. But that's kind of costly too. Then we went to PCC. They would work that claim for about a year, sending out letters, calling them, trying to get the account paid. After a year, they shove it back to me. I was then sending it to the offset program that the Iowa Department has. But in March of this year, they changed it from the offset to the set off program. They have a little bit different rules. They want to see that we have done our due diligence as far as contacting these debtors and making sure that they have every opportunity to pay back pay for their ambulance bill before we take their Iowa returns. So, and when I talked to Dave, he said, to try and come up with a policy, but kind of make it a little simple, don't make it real complex, but he also said that we probably should only keep about 5 years worth of bad debt on our account. Right now we have debt out there from 1999. So if we do approve of this policy, this first year would probably be a big chunk of money that we would write off. And then moving forward, then we would, every year I would give you a list of the names and debt that we have, and I'll get the board's approval as far as if I can write it off. But I'd like to have where every year we just maybe write off 25%, then the next year 50%, So we're trying in that 5 years that we have this bad debt is to try and collect some of it. I do have I talked to Lyon County, and they use a service over by Sioux Falls. And she told me that they only really keep about 10% of what they collect. She says they do pretty well. The problem when we move the offset is it goes by their social security number, and we don't have access to social security numbers. So that makes it really tough right there to use their service. Not like I don't have access to it. So, yeah, I kind of went back and pulled all the bad debt from, it started in 2001, but I know that there is a couple out there from 1999. So it is high. It's like $2,000. of bad debt that's sitting out there. But you gotta remember, that's from 1999 on. So, I don't know, I'm open for anybody.
Not being an
Please.
accountant, if you do the stair-step write-off approach,
Uh-huh.
are they then shown that only 75% of their bill is due, or only 50% of their bill is due?
Yes, that's what I
To
was.
me, then that would encourage, well, it's going down, why would I bother doing anything now?
But I would.
If they pay the whole 100%, then what is their process to
If they paid the.
reinstate that?
Well, what Dave said is you would move, okay, so in anything from 2018, 2019 on, they would be moved to uncollectible bad debt account. I would have to create that. And then they
And
would
then it
stay.
starts the
Yeah,
step.
and then we would
Okay.
move from there. I'm open to try and use this collection agency. I don't know if anybody has any experience with that, or?
You were saying because of the social security numbers?
It's really hard to
How
get.
does Lyon County do it then?
Lyon County, I think they just use this, and I'm not for sure how they get any of their social security numbers, because we had talked about that. There's a lot of people don't have social security numbers, that are out there and owe us money. I don't know, we just have to get a better handle on this. And I know that Dave's been asking me about this for years, about, getting a bad debt policy in place. I always thought we could. Because Jerry, before, when we would get their face sheet from any of the hospitals, like we bring a patient in, and then they would run them through their computer, and they would have their social security attached to their face sheet. That they're not allowed to do that anymore. So, kind of made it pretty difficult to.
I'm gonna ask a question, what does the hospital do for the bad debt? You get them there, hospital takes them in, if they don't have insurance, what do they do?
I'm sure that they get deeper.
But that
they'll
might be
probably-
something that
they
could
would
benefit
probably
you.
have to, I'm sure, like with Vera, I'm sure they have their own collection. But I'm sure they write off a lot of
A
that.
lot. It's a lot.
I imagine it's huge. Ours is huge.
That's
You
figured
know.
right in the budget.
Ours is huge, and I guess that was kind of my reason to just not, because at the time when we were putting them in offset, we had access to social security numbers. And so it was easy for the ones that we had access to their social security number to try and recollect some of that debt. But now that I don't have that, I need
I know
to figure something else out.
the hospital, if you have a bill, if you pay within the first month, you get 20% off. A huge bill, that's a lot of savings there.
And I've thought about maybe trying to set up like a credit card. PCC said that they would do that too for me. They would, when they send them a bill, you can use your debit card or credit card, and you could do something like that and then have it go directly to the bank. Or, not really sure I really want to, that's the only thing.
Yeah, we
I
need
don't,
to check with
and
Becky
I'm
on
sure
that.
that there's a fee for that too.
Yeah, because Becky charges, it's not much, but she charges a fee if they use their credit card to pay taxes. But I don't know what that
And
fee is.
I have talked to Becky in the past, about having them call her and pay their bill for here.
In the fourth paragraph, it seemed to switch to debit rather than debt.
Oh, did I say that? Yeah. Oh, and you know, everybody. What do you guys think? You want to chew on it for a little bit? Maybe talk to somebody else?
My initial thought is, what's it hurt to put this in place, and if we need to modify it, we modify it. It'd be better to have something and work on it than to just
Yeah.
wait,
And
but
and Andre, you have there is a guy that comes and helps you with QuickBooks, right? And he has been to my office too with mine. And I would probably get him to come back and make sure that I set that account up correctly.
And he'd be willing to.
Yeah,
work with you,
yeah,
sure.
he's very good about that.
Does this policy satisfy what the state wants?
Nolan checked it over. He gave it the stamp of approval. But I did
I would say
bring,
we should put it in
PCC.
place and we can go from there again.
I don't know why we couldn't modify it and improve it if we find something.
I'd make a motion to get this bad debt policy in place with the option to
And you're okay with once a year me coming in with that dollar amount and how much we need to look at, whether we should write off the 25 or.
Is that often enough? Is every year often enough? Once a year often enough, or what do you
Yeah.
think?
Any other comments? Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
You had it with with the options of modifying the agreement
Yes,
then?
yes. I was looking for that.
Okay. Make sure I had it right.
Approved flex benefits law.
Sharon, our flex, what we have through in place, county employees take so much out of their check for this flex program to help pay for offset medical bills, whatever. And she's $100 short. So she needs a loan for $100 because we've had some couple employees wanted their money before they had enough money in the account to pay for it. So she just needs, and next week it'll be paid back. We'll get payroll again. So she just needs to approve this $100 temporary loan for the flex benefits.
Make a motion to approve the $100 needed loan.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Right?
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approved cooperative energy class B retail alcohol use license.
I would make that motion.
All in support?
All those in favor?
Right?
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approved NIR company contract with GASB 75 actuarial evaluation report and Iowa 509A actuarial certification.
Those are reports that the auditors need on this actuary. Even Andre needs it for his audit to be done. And this 509A plan is I have to file with the state insurance company since we're partially self-funded. I have to file a report with them every year, and Nyhart gives me that information to file it. And it's a 2-year contract.
It's an unfunded state mandate.
It's been like this for years. I don't know, Jason. It's just something I have to have for the audit, so.
Comments, questions, concerns?
Second.
All those in favor?
Right?
All those opposed, same sign. Department heads. Start with Andre.
Okay, good morning. So Bright Beginnings, the Head Start program is moving out of the Bright Beginnings building, opening up 12 more spaces for childcare. So the Community Foundation has granted $5,210 to Bright Beginnings to furnish that room. So the plan is by September 1st, they could get children in that room. The Disaster Recovery Fund, the County Ministerial Association took donations during the fair, and they raised $1,600. I've also applied for a matching funds grant up to $500 from the Iowa Council of Foundations. I'm going to work with Dan with EMA, and then possibly next board meeting, I may be on the agenda to discuss ways we can use those donations to give back to the community after the disaster. I'm working with the hospital on the dentist recruitment, so that makes it a little bit easier having them in my corner. So hopefully we can get somewhere with that. I've been doing a lot of marketing, the Hawkeye Point brochure, we're about ready to reprint those, working on marketing stuff for the Community Foundation. And last night I spoke at the Ocheyedan City Council meeting about possibly starting a fund for the town of Ocheyedan with the Community Foundation. That's all that I have.
So from the flooding update, we still have one washed out gravel road that remains closed. May City ditch grading has been completed, but we are waiting on order for the canal gates that we're going to use to block off those ditches in the future. Otherwise, we have 2 pipe crossings and 2 bridge crossing roads that remain closed based on damage. They're going to be closed longer as we wait to deal with FEMA on paying for likely to better those crossings, better those locations. And our meeting with FEMA is set for August 20th to go over that. The big asphalt paving job was set to go next week, but they now look like they may delay themselves until just after Labor Day, start after Labor Day. On the truck shop, all the trades are now working on the interior, so the truck shop's moving along. The original contract was extended to the end of this month. They may go a week or 2 beyond that, but they are moving along and we are satisfied with their progress. Equipment, the big trucks are finally expected to start rolling in this month. We'll probably get 2 and then 2 more the first week of next month. We are returning the last Greene County truck to Greene County at the end of this month. And then with Ashton, I just want to make you aware that we are finally now discussing a 2080 agreement similar to the one we have with Ocheyedan to kind of clarify maintenance because we've had some confusion about who maintains what. So Ashton is finally on board with doing that agreement. So you'll be seeing that in the future. That's all I got.
What are you doing with that burned out bridge over there by Baldwin?
I haven't brought it forward as any kind of an action item, but it is a bridge that's 100 years old on a dirt road that has not been used since 2016. So we are likely not going to look to replace it. And we doubt that there was really any value in the existing structure at this point. So I will bring that forward to discuss with the board.
Could you put a low crossing in there?
No, it's too deep,
Too deep.
too steep and too deep to do that.
Sharon?
Well, still some of Becky's thunder. Tax statements are more printed and all hands on deck trying to help hold these things and get them out. Tax statements that are going out are based on our 2023 values. So once tax statements go out, we'll send our 24 values over to the auditor's office and we'll start working on 25. And 25 is looking a little bit like 23. Residential values for sure will be up, not as much, but they'll be up. And also, Sibley's levy's up $2. So if you didn't get the plus 65, you're going to see a pretty good tax increase in the Sibley.
Yeah, well, like Sharon said, tax statements are printed, we'll work on those, hopefully get them all stuffed and out by Friday. We've had a lot of phone calls, people are eager to get them, I guess. Also, we've been busy with driver's license renewals. Lyon County was down for a couple weeks after that crowd strike situation, so we have a lot of Lyon County customers.
Mowing, park maintenance continues. Seems like we do catch a little storm or something with the branches or trees picked up. Camping has picked up since the 4th of July, I would say. We've been considerably busier in June, the first part of August, even through the heat, than we were like May and June. As far as the Willow Creek Campground expansion project goes, the contractors are done. Everything has been seeded, so we are just waiting for grass to grow, which we kind of really don't have any control over. Then we'll have to get in and get some trees planted. We've been kind of starting a tree nursery, and then we've got to figure out what we got and how many more we're going to need. The cabin construction crew, I believe, is going to get started next week with trenching footings and getting the concrete pad poured, and then the framing crew will come in a couple weeks after that and get going. Hope to have that, at least a good chunk of that completed, so we can get and focus on the inside stuff as it gets colder. Our outdoor adventure night program was on August 2nd. We had probably 85 people come out and enjoy the different stations that we had set up, which was a pretty good turnout, for especially, I feel, for as hot as it was. It was kind of miserable out there on the hill. And then lastly, our Hunter's Ed online field day is coming up on August 24th. So if you know anybody that is looking to get their Hunter's Ed completed, they have to do the online portion of the class prior to attending field day. But if they live here, they're probably not going to find one much closer this fall.
Well, been dealing a lot with mental health, and started to affect my mental health. But no, mental health this past month has just been ridiculous. There have been at least 12 people that we've interacted with that were in some kind of a mental health crisis. Just to let you know how this works is that out of those 12, probably we ended up doing 2 committals. The one committal we brought down to Sioux City. He was on a 48-hour hold down there. 48 hours, he was back here doing the exact same stuff that he was doing to get the meeting. So that didn't work. The one we did yesterday, we got the paperwork at 1:30, and we brought him to the hospital at 1:30. He was finally transported to Sioux Falls 13 hours later. 1:30 this morning, 12:30 this morning. So that's how our mental health is working right now. And I can just about guarantee that by the time Sioux Falls releases him, he'll be back here doing the exact same stuff he's doing.
Why is that up now?
I don't know, for some reason, this time of the year, July and August, we always get a rise in it. I don't know if it's because the temperatures or the weather or what the deal is, but it seems like every summer the numbers go up a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty sad. And I sat in on a meeting yesterday with the Human Services and with some other sheriffs. We go over Zoom, And they're gonna revamp all the districts again, starting July 1st of 25. And I don't know how that's gonna affect us or what's gonna happen there.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, so.
Care Connections region largely stayed together. We're the only one that got put into a different district. Sioux Rivers, Dickinson and Emmett were in Sioux Rivers. They got put into the district that contained what Care Connections used to be, but regions are pretty much going away. They're gonna have administrative service organizations and.
I don't think, right now, it doesn't matter what district you're in, everybody has the same problem with mental health. So. Nobody has a solution.
Providers is a difficulty.
It's kind of like, you know, we've had a couple inmates that have been in mental health crisis, and we call our Care Connections, and this is not a knock on the Care Connections, but, you know, they're saying, well, we gotta get them into ITP so they can do a video conference so they can be seen in the jail. In order to do that, Care Connections will send us a 11 to 12 page paperwork that the inmate needs to do that's in a mental health crisis. And guess what? They're not gonna read that in that email and mark the boxes and sign their name that they need help. It'll never happen. And if it doesn't happen, if they don't do it, they don't get the help, so. Yeah, it's.
Have you heard anything out of John Hanson
What, 2 weeks ago, Michelle got, I got an email from him.
I haven't gotten anything. I emailed him to see if he needed anything on the agenda.
Yeah.
I haven't heard back
And,
from him.
He's in the process right now of opening a new jail in Okata. And he said the bids were gonna be let here this month yet. And
Last I'd seen, he'd identified it was gonna be done in July.
he said hopefully awarded first part of September and started doing some groundwork at the end of September. That was the last time frame we agreed.
But am I supposed to be putting something in the paper? I mean, I have nothing in the paper. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. That's what I'm concerned about, is that I'm supposed to be doing something and I have no idea what, because he doesn't get back to me. Last week we had a passport agency inspection and we passed and had no complaints we haven't had one since 2017, so we passed that. September 10th, Harris Lake Park is having a special election for purpose revenue statement, so we're gearing up for that. Cole from Dickinson County informed me that I have to get a cage number for the FEMA for these drainage ditches because I'm controlling. So that's been a little bit of a nightmare because the county already has a number that the person that Cole talked to thought that the county needed a separate number for the drainage ditches. And that's, I don't know what to do there because they want information that I can't provide them. So I got a call yesterday from Homeland Security and they gave me another person to call to see what I need to do. So I'm working on that. I haven't heard from Cole if they have droned those drainage ditches or not, or I've not heard that. So I'm working with that and end of the year stuff and getting stuff ready for Dave Noble to come and yeah, all that fun stuff.
About the AC?
Rick is still out. You know, I called that Andrew, but they can't give me an actual bid because they just provide the equipment. Sibley Sheet Metal is one that's going to be doing all the work, so they have to provide it for us. What we're doing has been working. You know, I haven't had any complaints. I had to order 1 or 2 more units, but it's been working since we had that trial upstairs. But I think Mike O'Connor said Secondary Road could use some of those units when we're done with them, so on outlining buildings. So we'll see. But yeah, it's been working. Thankfully, it's been cool these last couple of weeks for that trial going on upstairs because they had those going and it was pretty loud. They couldn't hear, so we had to move them. And then, of course, we blew fuses because they're all in the same circuit. So that was fun. So, but I don't know if it's working. We're getting to almost the end of the season, so everybody's been very Cooperative and willing.
2 hot weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not
No, we shut ours off yesterday, actually. We were cold in the office.
62.
Yeah, it was cold. I was froze.
that bad. Is that the default when it turns out?
So hopefully Rick is getting better, that he can meet with Andrew. And
Last week, so.
I mean, when he comes with Andrew, I would like a couple board members here to know, so we all know what we're doing. So if I know a time, I'll send an email out to see who can come and go around with him and understand the kind of unit he wants to put in place. So I appreciate Sibley Sheet Metal. They've been very good to work with, and I appreciate them a lot. So thank them.
I just want to commend Nick for his family fun night. Anybody that's got kids, take it out there. I took my grandson out there, and we had a ball. It was hot, but we still had a ball. So very, very good stations and.
Best hot dogs in the county, I like that.
What's that?
Best hot dogs in the county.
Yeah, yes.
Who brought us?
I did.
Jerry.
I've got one more thing. Rick Wider, the architect, he will be here Monday, and he's gonna bring some electrical engineers in. They're gonna do a walkthrough of our current building and things. He will be here Monday.
John coming with him?
I have no idea.
Those are Rochelle's recipe brownies.
Oh, boy.
They're probably not nearly as good.
Oh, I bet they're good.
Did you make them, Jerry?
No, I didn't. Sorry. My wife's retired now, so.
Would you like one, Leroy?
Yeah, please.
Jerry, would you like one?
Sure.
I haven't made these for a while.
deserve fork or spoon.
Thank you.
Good service.
They can put in the paper and Michelle knows what to serve.
Oh, that's all right. I got to pay for enough. More than what I want to eat.
That's why I sat on this side.
Yeah.
Unless you get you.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
stuff in the
Andre.
background.
How about you, Andre? Would you like?
No, thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Well, it's Rochelle's recipe, so thank Rochelle too. For a long time, we got it out of the cookbook, and it was LaDonna's brownies. And then we found out LaDonna got the recipe from Rochelle. So.
I almost know this recipe by heart. Does that make sense? I can do it by heart.
There are worse things to have.
Yeah, there are worse things. Very good, thank you. Want a brownie?
Approved nonprofit contract with Bright Beginnings.
This is what we had budgeted, $10,000 that we had budgeted in the budget for them, their allocation.
Move for that approval?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I will abstain from
Motion carries.
that. Which Brad puts in.
Approved fiscal year 24-25 budget. Aaron, updated.
We have to meet the 17th of September because of the election, so I was wondering if we could do it that day, like at 9 o'clock. The board's okay with that? We have to meet the 10th, 17th, and 24th in September because we have to canvass that election. Or you want it later, the 24th, I can do whatever. The 10th is kind of soon for me, but I can do the 17th or 24th. You tell me what you want. So if you're okay with the 17th, then that would be great. That would work for you too, that plenty of time, right?
Yeah, I'll probably bring the amendment needed for the DOT approval on the 10th, so that we know that that's good, and then that can be rolled into what we're showing.
I'd make a motion for the 17th, what time?
I was gonna do 9 o'clock.
All those in favor?
Right?
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And as a piece of information, my amendment is basically carried forward for money that didn't get spent last year. Now it gets spent this year.
And that's what Nick's is for too, is money that he thought we spent last year that didn't, so it has to carry over this year.
As fast as we fall.
Right. And same with us with the jail and everything else, so. I received no bids, no inquiry, nothing on these storage shed, nothing. So I don't know what the board wants me to do. Have somebody come tear them down or what? Or leave them at first or what?
That's something you guys could take care of, Keith?
We could, but I appreciate if we do it as a winter project.
Well, yeah.
Not when we don't have much else to do. And just charge our time and get down fee, I guess.
I guess that one further to the east to me is an eyesore. The other one seems like a pretty good and well-maintained building. I guess I'd hate to see it.
Yay.
I'm bringing it around, Jerry. But the one to the east, I could see
Yeah.
just tearing down. The other
Yeah.
one, it's useful storage or could be generate interest at some point. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
I'm not sure, did you put a car in there, Jason?
I think so.
Close.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of
Is there stuff stored in
storage.
there?
There's storage shelving in there. I don't know, it'd be pretty tight. I don't know if we could fit a car in there.
The conservation could get inside or something.
What about the city of Sibley Chamber? I know when they talked about taking down that cement plant, there was storage in there that the chamber used, like their parade float and stuff like that.
Oh,
Could maybe be an option.
I would agree with that, Jason, for now. And if we're not gonna tear it down till this winter, just
I
put
can
it,
see tearing the one down.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I can see tearing the other.
I agree.
Seems a little bit too nice of a building.
Yeah.
Just demo. I'm sure at some point somebody can find something to store in there since we don't have really room for anything.
okay. That works.
Discuss CFE mill urban renewal agreement.
I asked for that to be on here. Spoke with Sharon, and the bins that recently went up on the north side of Railroad Street are going to bring, I would call, significant valuation increase. And they are not currently in the footprint of the urban renewal area supporting the road project for CFE. Thought it was worth at least bringing up, seeing if there was any interest or reason to amend the plan to include that. And I guess my first thought is you would just capture it and hold it to pay off the loan earlier and not sit on a loan longer than we need to. There are aspects that I think would need to be considered as well, but if it were to proceed, but thought it was worth the board weighing in on.
I don't think it'd be too bad of a deal.
With a dollar amount.
If I figured this right, I think it was going to generate about $150,000 a year. And I guess you're probably talking 10,000 to amend the plan. I don't know. I would hope less, but considerations, I guess I'd reference are that with our current agreement with CFE, once the road's paid off, they get a rebate if we're amending in new ground. And the fact that we used ethanol plant dollars to support the finishing of that road, I struggle with them getting the full rebate that was originally agreed to, because those funds aren't all that supported that. And bringing in additional land, I would not see needing to be included in the rebate. And this is in city limits, so this would be city property that valuation is available to them as well. So it never has been, since it hasn't hit the books yet, but it is something that would impact what the city could receive, so. Basically, I just don't like debt, so the faster we can pay it off, just is always intriguing to me, so that's why I brought it up, so. I think we're positioned well with the elevator, I don't see any issues, it's just a get it done quicker thing.
You think about 10,000 for the new agreement? Is that what you said?
I used to think they'd say about 5, but that was years ago. I mean, really, you're just adding land to generate for the same project that's already approved, so I can't think it would be substantially more, but I don't know.
We're also using a new law firm, so
Yeah.
that, you know, they have different takes on things versus the other ones, so.
And I'm open to expanding what can be done with urban renewal if this additional valuation could create positive options or opportunities for the county or around Ocheyedan. I'm not pigeonholing it into this, but if it's only to help pay off debt, I think that's worth consideration too. So.
I think we should continue to look into it.
Yeah, you can get some numbers together, kind of see what it look like.
We'll reach out to Ayers and Cooney for a blank on the agreement.
See how fast that would speed up the timeline
Yeah.
to pay that down.
I'm sure we can submit those numbers to Spear Financial and they could generate that.
Any other thoughts, comments? Discuss and consider access to levy election.
And I addressed you throughout the last couple budgetary processes. We, one year used the excess levy, the next year considered the election that is now required. I see Rochelle put in our packets the requirements. I knew there was a date that we had to decide to seek the excess levy by. I didn't remember that there was a specific date for the election. I was hoping that it could be a more convenient timing issue than last minute during budget cycle. Yeah. Shared my thoughts on that. I think it's a decent idea to push back against the state and unfunded mandates and help our citizens identify that we're already paying these things. Now we just group them in one certain spot that they see what it costs them. If the unfunded mandates were ever funded by the appropriate deciding bodies, then we could remove the excess levy in a hurry. But I know our auditor's not in favor. She brought me around to that side a little bit. But
Well, we're past the deadline, aren't we, anyway?
Yeah, we can't have it until March. Election
this would be
can't be
looking for
done by
next fiscal
March.
year, next budgetary cycle. I'm just trying not to get in the mix of budgeting time and making that decision.
Can I get your thoughts, Rochelle, on that?
Yeah. You know, we had a healthy general fund balance this year. Granted, we were hoping to use more money we had allocated for the jail, so that'd be coming out of this budget. I until we do budgets, I have no idea if it's a need. You know, we're probably, to hold an election will cost $10,000, and I don't know what our savings would be. And I don't know if we want to be the first county to do this. There's other counties that are more dire straits than ours.
And Jason, your thoughts are just, if we're gonna push back and show them?
A little bit, and I've advocated throughout that we can move things out of supplemental and then use excess, so it's not a tax burden on our citizens, it's a shifting, and it's a now clearly identifying, we're paying this already, and here's how, and how you can, or where you can see it's coming from. And worst case scenario, then we've freed up more space within supplemental to take a hit if we run upon hard times. But I don't disagree with her at all, that it's not a need situation. And
I just don't know how to come up with the dollar amount, what we're losing out of unfunded state mandates. I don't know how to get that number. So if somebody asks what it is, I don't, because, you know, it's just not the county, it's the schools, it's the cities, it's the townships, area schools are all affected by it, not just the county. So I don't know. I'm just afraid I'm going to have taxpayers saying, so what are we? And I don't know how to come up with that figure to tell them. You know what I mean? That makes sense? I mean, I'm not saying it won't be a need in down the future. I just don't know if it is now. But
I don't think there'd be a stomach from the public after getting their tax statements to want to have a vote on excess levy. I know
And
I've seen my tax statement.
I understand, and public votes have surprised me in support of things over the last few years, so I don't know which way I'd say it would go. And I would just say, you're already paying it. We're just reworking things that you're seeing right where you're paying it from. So it's not an effort to do a revenue increase. But I don't disagree with your concerns. And it would be used under the unusual problems relating to functions required by the state law. That's a open question. I don't know if they'd challenge us on it or not. If we went to the voters and the voters approved it, I don't know if the state would push back, but.
I guess I'd be interested to see what some of our neighbors do due to their loss of tax revenue from the flooding, whether or not they choose to go that route.
no one probably would know that answer until we get into budgets, you know. The flood though probably won't affect any, the valuation this year. It'll be the next following year is what it will be affecting them.
Comments, questions? I guess we'll move on. Claims.
Identify that there's claims for Boswell Water Service in 210, 211, and 274.
I'd make a motion to pay those claims.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All those abstained.
Dang.
Do you want more coffee, Leroy? Leroy, do you need more coffee?
I don't know, I've got the piece of
I'm
that.
sorry, I should have asked you sooner. I apologize.
That's good,
I'm
thank
bailing
you.
on my days of waitressing.
You're gonna have Mike here today.
I know, I was like, I should have asked you. I'm sorry.
Like you said, is what I said.
Yes, yeah.
What are we doing on gravel?
We're gonna have to start mining gravel probably a year before we would have, we're depleting a lot of it, taking care of the washouts and things like that. We bought gravel as well, so we try to turn it into FEMA. Lyons Pit across the street, that's where Nobles County was mining gravel. We bought the rest of their pile. But yeah, we're gonna be getting into Thomas Pit a year sooner. We already were scheduled to mine in Lion Pit this year, and we'll be doing that this fall. We'll be putting Thomas Pit in next year's budget.
What is slurry leveling?
That's what you've seen down there by Ashton, where it's a very, very fine aggregate, like 3/8 and smaller with an emulsion, and that's where they level out some of those dips where joints are. And right here north of town at the VFW bridge, they did a big spot of that to level out. We're at the bridge where we had a big hump. We're going to do some of that next year on A34 east of 59 to try to limp that along, especially at the intersections where it's bad, to limp that along until we get that into the paving system. It's pricey for what it is, but it does help with the ride quality of the road and help seal the joints as well. The emulsion gets down in those joints.
Any idea, Rochelle, when we take delivery of that new engine?
No, I know, she didn't say. I think this is 25% down, 40% down.
So your thoughts on that bridge that burned? The guy that lit the stalks just calls me regularly. He's concerned about it, and I'm not sure what to tell him, so.
Well, I don't want to make a unilateral decision on something like that. I'd rather bring it to the board.
Yep.
Bring it to the board.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told him, yep.
But you couldn't put one of those low drive-through crossings, you know?
You'd have to bring it back so far to get down and back up.
Okay. I didn't think that creek was that big.
It's a pretty good
Is it?
hole there.
12 foot, 15 foot down or better.
I know somebody had asked me about that, but
They was asking me too.
it's a good question.
I would make a motion to pay the rest of the claims.
I'll support that motion.
All those in favor?
All right.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else for updates?
I'm sorry I didn't print the maps of the new districts that the state identified for mental health regions. I will forward you an email. I'll forward you an email I'd gotten with those in it, but, yeah, discussions are starting in a different line than they had been previously from maps that had been potential maps, so.
So is
I don't know.
HHS gonna reorganize into those districts as well? Or
That, I don't know. I think they're just providing oversight of who submits
I think this is
to be the
Oh, they're getting
ASO,
along and stuff.
the Administrative Service Organization.
I think.
I'm not sure.
Sorry about that. Did I give you Jerry's stuff? I did.
I think that was maybe a miss.
Maybe from last meeting, I bet,
Yeah.
or something
okay.
there, sorry.
I think that's all your stuff. Rochelle and I talked about this a little bit. They said it didn't need to be on the agenda. I was approached by Dawson, Nathan Rockman about giving a deposition on they picked me, and I said, well, was that a